Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon with Brandon Wound Pickups.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. Super happy that you're joining us for this episode. It's another good one. We haven't even done it, but I can pretty much guarantee that at this point. I think so, right? Yeah. We've had a string of them, a string of really good ones, 200 plus actually. That's more than a string, but
that's a strand.
It is, and you know what, everybody, they are all available on our website, on almost all of the the podcast platforms, as well as on YouTube. So if you are scrolling through and checking out your stuff, then you can listen along.
Hey, Todd, what is it that we do on this podcast?
Well, I was just going to ask you that, Tony.
Oh. Well, thanks for asking. I asked myself. Well, we like to talk about music gear, specifically boutique gear. Even more specifically, we like to talk to the makers of this gear, and that would be things like guitars and amps and pedals and pedal boards and pickups and the occasional pickguard maker. I know one of those guys. And accessories. Oh, the accessories. We love to talk about that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. We also like to learn stuff, so we'll have 101s once in a while.
We got a good one coming up, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to feature Jared. So, hey, everybody, why don't you start sending in your questions?
Are we going
to talk about neutrons?
No, we're going to talk about pickups.
Yep. That sound good through Mutrons.
Big fat pickup fest. So, anyways, speaking of people that we like to have on the show, we've got one right now. Who are you people?
Me? Me, Chris DiPinto.
Right on. Chris DiPinto of Depinto Guitars is joining us tonight.
Yep.
I think he fits the criteria.
Indeed.
I would say so.
Indeed. So we're really excited to have him on. Chris makes some very, very recognizable guitars, I would say. Chris, would you say that?
Yes.
Yes. I think it seems to be your forte. So you can, where can people go see what you do right now?
I'm really active on Instagram. I think if you just went to @Depinto Guitars, you're going to see everything I'm doing up to the last minute. And that goes over to Facebook as well, so you can go there too. But I think the Instagram page, you can see the pictures better and catch up on what I'm doing. You could also go to depintoguitars.com, but I don't really keep up on that. That has, some inventory on it and some history. That's about it.
Excellent. Where are you calling from tonight?
I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia. Man, there's a lot of great builders in Philly, man.
Woo. And the Philadelphia Eagles.
And a Philadelphia steak sandwich.
Yeah,
the Philly steak sandwich, yep.
And cream cheese.
Oh, don't forget Philadelphia cream cheese.
If you look on there, it doesn't say it's from Philadelphia. It's coming from Virginia or somewhere.
Oh, man.
And the Rocky statue. Don't forget the Rocky statue.
Yeah. Didn't they take that down? They took it down, didn't they?
No, they moved it.
They moved it because it's not really art. Come on.
Yeah, there's a big kerfuffle about that. Go check out these guitars because they're awesome and they're really unique. And I think you might actually fall in love with them as soon as you see them. So we're going to get into that whole big thing in just a little while. First, we have a couple of announcements. And we want to thank
Rode.
Okay. We want to thank Rode Mics for providing this awesome equipment that we have at our behest to record our podcast. This is mighty fine equipment, and
mighty fine.
My only hang up with this is that our friends, the two Nicks, are all the way in Australia, and we may never get to meet them, but I sure hope we do in person.
I think it sounds like a business expense if we go to Australia.
Maybe your business expense. I've checked with my accountant, and that ain't happening. But anyways, we're really thrilled with the product, and it is pretty outstanding.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. I also wanted to point out, a little while back, I made a little post about, hey, if you want your brand in our patrons' hands, you can send us a little packet of stickers or pics or whatever kind of doodads you want to get out to the people that are supporting the show and others. Whenever guitar shows come back, to the public, we usually take out a bunch of swag and as we're talking to people and share it. But I made that mention and I got quite a few things. And one of them says, hey, Guitar Knobs crew, here are some stickers. Throw some in your patron packs and keep some for yourselves. Will do. Thanks for doing what you do. And that's from Taylor at Pedal Haven. So thanks so much, Taylor at Pedal Haven.
Taylor.
And if you're out there and you're like, hey, I've got a brand, I make guitar stuff, I listen to your show, and you want to send this to those, then just shoot me a little DM on Instagram or send me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. All right, let's get into a little bit of what's going on in our music worlds this week, everybody. We're going to start over on Tony Avenue, and then we're going to swing down to Chris DiPinto Boulevard.
It's actually Tony Lane.
I said Tony Avenue.
But it's Tony Lane.
Complicate things.
I must.
Do it, Tony.
Okay, so this week, in addition to my normal making of pick guards, I occasionally converse, and otherwise hobnob with my fellow guitar building wizards. And I just found out something that I thought was interesting. And actually, it was announced last, I guess, October or maybe earlier than that Fender is no longer going to have ash guitars in their standard lineup.
Why is that, Tony Baloney? Because that's weird.
Well, I think they're said they'll continue to do custom shop. They'll continue on maybe some special runs, but the day in, day out stuff, apparently the price of swamp ash in particular has gone through the roof. And I guess there were some floods in the South where they harvest swamp ash. And then they were, I think, substituting in some cases northern ash, which is what they make baseball bats out of. But it's probably 2 or 3 times the weight of swamp ash. But now up north, we have the ash borer, which is decimating. I think last I heard it was 70% of all of the ash trees in the north.
Jeez Louise.
So ash is, that's becoming a hard to get and expensive wood species. So, I mean, I can't imagine a butterscotch telly not being made out of ash. I mean, to me, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, to me, it's a little too bright for my taste. But, if you want that quintessential Telecaster sound, like a 50s kind of telly, I don't think you can do it with anything but ash. Balsa wood, yes. But I'm sure it's someone will come up with a Chinese substitute that will be the next best thing.
Chris, what do you typically use?
It's funny you say, because I'm sitting on a bunch of pieces of ash that we haven't even cut into yet. I got them years ago for the USA factory, and that sputtered for a while, and now COVID has really killed it. So even the foreman over there was saying, "You still got some ash over there, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And that was in the summer. He was talking about the price going up. So
yeah, that's when it all kind of started, and now. I guess Fender probably has a gold mine filled with boards, but they're reserving that just for custom shop and special runs.
And I don't know what I should do. Should I sell my pieces at a high price, or should I hold it?
You should hold them and sell them for a higher price.
I know, right? They're going down.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting news. See how that affects. It's kind of weird. We're running into more and more situations where it's like, oh, can't use that anymore. Whether it's rosewood or ash, and these things are so common before. So
yeah,
curious.
Well, I guess we'll just have to go back to recycling pallets.
Yeah, right. Let's see here, Chris. What's going on in your music world?
I've been just busy writing songs and recording, and I've always been way behind times with recording. I've used, like 8-track reel-to-reel, and then I went to a little Zoom 4-track,
So may I ask what inch tape? Are 2-inch tape, 1-inch tape, 1/4 inch?
Oh, I was 1/4 inch. I had the old Fostex, the one that Steve Vai used back in the 80s. I still have it.
Heck yeah, that's cool.
It's cool. It sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's hard. It's hard to deal with it. And there's tape dropout. There's, frequency dropout. So then I went to this little Zoom 4-track handheld thing, and I just mastered it. People would hear the demos and be like, what studio did you do this in? Using the actual built-in sounds too, just tweaking them, because that's what it's all about. It's all about, getting the best sound out of what you're using. And, some things you have to throw out just so you can use it. But other things have, the guys who invented this stuff, like the Zoom stuff, they also love Thin Lizzy and Eddie Van Halen too,
Mm-hmm.
And they're tweaking my favorite sounds into it as well. So you can actually use these to your advantage,
Mm-hmm.
But lately,
the thing is, they're super affordable.
yeah, they're so cheap, and you can get so much out of them. And I'm talking about one that I got back in 2005, maybe. So I just, I had to give that up, because the real problem was, how do I turn it into an email file that I can send to somebody? I was going on to a disc, like a CD burner,
Mm-hmm.
and then, it was such a pain. So I really had to start recording on a laptop and emailing stuff that way. And once I finally got myself a program, I think I'm using Mixpad right now. I just can't believe how great it is just to email a file and send it back and forth, and someone sends you a track and you just download it onto the track and there it is. And especially with COVID, we're emailing tracks back and forth and we're writing songs this way. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's remarkable what technology is affording us in the music world. Yeah. Jared, how about yourself, buddy?
Oh, yesterday was new pedal day. So, Denny Kopp of Kopp Stringed Instruments, he's up in Catawba, Ohio, a stone's throw of where I pretty much grew up. And he told me about this fella named Calvin Cordy, and said Calvin was interested in a set of my pickups. So anyway, I asked Calvin, I said, what do you do for a living? And he said, I build amps and repair amps and I make pedals. And he's got a pedal out right now called Velvet Fog. And he makes this pedal with it's got like a tube. A vacuum tube. So you see he makes a little window in the center.
Yeah, we were talking about that on one of the recent podcasts there.
Exactly. So he did that, and man, when you take the cover off the back, it's all like point to point. He's used to doing a lot of point to point with amplifiers and stuff like that. So he already has the skill.
Is that endorsed by Mel Torme?
It could be.
There's one other person besides me that actually knows what the hell you're talking about.
Mel Torme's nickname was the Velvet Fog. The Velvet Fog.
The Velvet Fog, baby. That's the name of the. I don't know if that has something to do with it or not, but it's a really cool it's a really cool housing. There's this clear layer on the bottom. You know how you have the bottom of the housing. Well, he puts a clear piece of, I don't know if it's plexi or some sort of something in the hole. So there's a whole ring around the bottom of the pedal that lights up when it's on, besides the indicator on the top of the pedal.
Nice.
It's built really well. I have pedal number 4.
Nice.
And he built this along the lines of to give you the dumble sound. So it doesn't. I plugged it into a few Marshall amps and it doesn't correlate with the Marshall very well. But if you've got a clean Fender amp, that's what you want to use this pedal for, and it'll blow your eardrums out, and it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So
Marshalls in general don't like pedals. They don't play well.
They don't. They like very little. A little of this and a little of that, but not too much of anything really.
Yeah, they don't like to be front end loaded. That's
nope. Sure. So anyway, this pedal I hooked it into my twin reverb that's been brown faced. The thing is amazing. It's loud as heck. It's so yeah, I'm really happy with that pedal. So
cool.
That it was new pedal day, so I'm really excited.
Bueno.
And tomorrow I get to go up to Lay's Guitar Repair. So that's going to be fun too. See how my 69 Martin's doing up there.
Oh, do you have anything else there? Didn't you have your purple sparkle up there?
I'm going to take that guitar to him tomorrow.
Wow. That's going to be neato when you get that done.
Be like, yeah, I want this in purple sparkle. So
awesome.
Hey, Todd, speaking of Lay's Guitars, what's going on in your music world this week?
Yeah, Lay's.
Nothing having to do with that. However, I recorded it was the 1 Minute Wonder with the ADD Overloader Deluxe. And for those who don't know what that is, haven't checked it out, every week I try to do a 1 minute demo of a pedal. And so we've been putting those up on Instagram, and they're really fun to do and just try to give a good glimpse as to what does this pedal do really well. I don't go into like, here's all the 14 knobs and everything. It's like the internet is full of that, and you can find that if that's what you want. But if you just want a quick hit of like, ooh, that sounds cool, then check it out. Anyways, I just kept playing with that. The tweakability of that and how it affects different combinations of pedals is just outstanding. It is such a great pedal. The Audio Disruption Devices Overloader Deluxe. And Dan Minner was on the show previously, so you can check that episode out. It's just a few back. And he's actually been sick off and on for like a while now, and I hope he's getting better. But poor old Dan was having a hard time the other day. I reached out to him just to see how he's doing. But yeah, these are handmade pedals, and they sound excellent. And especially, I personally just really love this Overloader Deluxe because of all the filter. It's just basically it's like a signal manipulator. It's got filters and resistance manipulator and band passes, and it's just great. And it looks cool. So that's always a bonus, Anyhow, good stuff. So that was a fun pedal to play with because it really does affect even for a punch in. Like it's not a pedal that you necessarily have to say, oh, I'm going to leave this on for an entire song. You can just punch in and out of it, and it just like radically changes the way that it sounds. Like you can go from something nice and smooth sounding like something that came off of one of the Stooges tracks in like a split second. It's really cool.
Nice.
So there's that.
How about some of this? Yeah.
Perfect.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the floor.
Jared, name something that is short, really flat, plugs into things, and black.
Man, the only thing I can think of is a Tour Gear Design patch cable from a pedal board.
That is brilliant, because that is the only thing that really matches that description. Yep. For sure. One of the best parts about these things, and Jared, I know you know this because you've bought some. Mm-hmm. I've got them all over my board. Tony's got them all over his board. And many of our guests, as a result of us talking about it, have got them on their boards.
That's right.
And now it's time for you to go get them on your boards. Whoever you are listening right now, you're like, I know you guys keep telling me about this.
Get them.
Honestly, there's no reason not to. They start out at under $6.
Yep.
For a single cable. Now, just do some comparative shopping. All right, we'll just leave it like that. But wait, I'm gonna help you out even more right now, because if you go to tourgeardesigns.com/discount/guitar knobs, you are going to get 10% off your entire order.
Wow. That makes it just a hair over $5 a cable.
Yeah,
That's right.
And you know why I say entire order? Because you're not going to get one cable. You're going to be like, this is a fantastic deal.
Just
and
get
these
a
things
bunch.
look legit. You're going to get a bunch of them. So head on
Trust
over there,
me.
tourgeardesigns.com/discount/guitar knobs and save 10% on the best dang patch cables out there. Okie dokie, let's head on over to find out what Chris DiPinto, guitar builder extraordinaire even, has for his 4 on the floor. What's number 1?
Number 1 for me would have to be the first clone ever made. 002. Do you know about that pedal?
Is this your pedal?
Well, it was at one time, but that's kind of
real?
a joke. It was actually, yeah, I don't own it. That was kind of a joke. It is for
Oh.
sale at the moment for $500,000 on Reverb.
Oh,
if you didn't find out
That's
about that.
ridiculous.
It's a little bit of a joke for it to be up at that price.
A little
It's
bit.
owned right now. Yeah. But it's funny. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on this, but if you're into pedals and if you're into the Klon, you know that they're going up in price like crazy right now.
Yeah.
And I sold the first Klon, which actually the serial number is 002. Funny story about it is when the guy made the first 15 Klons, he saved the serial number 001 for himself, and he made it the week after. So 002 is number 1. And the mistake was telling anybody because he said that in an interview. And a Klon comes into my shop and it's we look inside and it has 002 inside, and we start reading about it and we realize that's number 1.
Oh my God.
It's a crazy story. So it's the rarest pedal. It's the most desirable pedal, and it's the first one too.
So
You're just freaking out.
How did it come into your shop?
Well, a musician had it on his pedal board, and he showed us a bunch of pedals he wanted to sell, and we saw the Klon there, and we said, "Is that for sale?" And he's like, No, I'm not selling that one." And he walked off with it. And I said, "If you ever want to sell it, I'll definitely buy it from you."
Oh, wow.
But that's usually the end of the story. They never come back, But he calls back a month later, and he's like, "I want to sell that pedal, and this is how much I want to get for it. It's a lot, but that's how much I want." And I was like, "I'll pay it right now."
Wow.
I felt. Actually, I didn't know. I didn't open it. I didn't know what the serial number was inside. I paid a high price, not even knowing what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started doing research on it after I own it. And I'm like knocked out by this pedal. I cannot believe how rare it actually is.
That's incredible.
I put it up for sale on Reverb just to get some interest, because I'm interested in getting some, articles written on it,
Mm-hmm.
and getting some clicks and getting some, action going on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it up for an absurd price, which I think is an absurd price, $4,200. Like I don't see any
Not
pedals
absurd
on
now.
Not at the time. A good 4 or 5 years ago,
Oh, geez, that was
$4,200.
4 or 5 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah, it was a while, and it was. I thought it was a shocking price. It was so much higher than every other Klon at the time.
Wow.
And somebody offered 36, and I turned it down. And the guy was like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "I don't even want to sell it. I want to get some articles written," because I was talking to him over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So he hung up the phone, and then boom, he pushed buy now, and he bought it at 42.
Wow.
And I was just upset that I had to ship it, but psyched to pay a bunch of bills too. So
Yeah.
and now there's this. If you have one that has serial number 349, well, I'm not saying if you do, but people are putting those up for $6,000, $5,000,
I mean,
and it's getting out of control because the idea was this was the first one.
yeah. That's nuts, man.
That's a crazy story.
That's
But
a
I
great
used it.
story. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? But that was my pedal, and I did use it on our last recording. I have a band called Cream Circus, and it got used on a bunch of songs on that record. And people always ask me what it sounds like, and you can hear it on there.
Wild.
It's awesome. It makes the guitar sound amazing. It's just huge and thick and pops out of the mix. That's the hardest thing sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like Jared. So, anyways, why don't we?
All right, so that's my joke there. Do you want to know my 4 pedals?
Yeah. How about number 2?
All right. Well, okay. So a boost pedal, basically anything, and you can use the Klon as an example. That's the boost pedal, and I need some sort of delay, anything, analog, digital, it's only going to be in there for a slap back. It's a subtle thing, and that's going to be used for leads.
Do you have a go-to that you really like?
Oh man, I mean, if I had to go to a gig right now,
Yeah.
I would pick something. I have this Echo EKKO 616 analog delay, and you can tune in a little chorus too on it, which is nice. So I might grab that.
Cool.
And it's small, but I also have a T-Rex replicator here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is? That is a tape delay, right?
Yeah.
And that's big and cool looking. So that could go to the gig too, right?
Right.
Either one, I don't care. It's just as long as it fills in for the leads, because just, but then again, like, what is the gig of the night? What are we playing? What's the music? For my band, this is what I have to have.
I would say just make it for your band. What the kind of music you make, and that'll be the parameter we use for the last two.
Yes. So my band tends to be in the Thin Lizzy T-Rex sort of vibe, 70s, distorted guitar.
So I was going to ask, how do you? Yeah, I'm sure you've used Echoplexes before, and how do you think that the T-Rex replicator compares?
Well, I only got to try it as a test when I was buying it from the guy, and I didn't get to really put it through my rig. But I did notice, like, it was doing that Echoplex thing. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about the Echoplex, it's got that, I don't know, that brightness, like your echo is brighter than your guitar, which is what I like. I like the echo to have its own sound, a different sound than the guitar, that's more exciting to me. Even if it's more dull, I like it too. I just want it to be different. I don't know if I like digital delay where it's the exact sound of your instrument. So this thing was doing a different sound, and I liked it. It had the sound of tape, because that's the only way you can get it, And
I kind of like the unpredictability of tape echoes.
Sure.
Sometimes it depends on the age of the tape, how fast what your current is running through the pedal and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It can vary so much. So yeah, it is kind of fun that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the sound of a guitar on tape. Even if you on a reel-to-reel machine and you start the tape and the song starts up quickly or slowly, or you stop the tape, you get that unexplainable sound of the music. I don't know, but that fidelity is the sound of these tape machines, and that's what you want when you have echo. I think personally.
Yeah, I agree
that's the best. If you're willing to carry it, that's the best one. Yeah.
How about number 3?
Okay, so you're talking to someone who was trying to cut all the pedals off the stage, right? So I would be happy to have the curly Q chord going from the guitar right up to the Marshall, like Jimi Hendrix. But and also I'm singing too, so I don't want to have to hit pedals. So I tend to make up these things which are many pedals in one. Like I have this pedal that was made for me that has a little attenuator in it, little like volume knob, so I can cut the sound of the guitar, cutting back your volume on your guitar, but there it is on a pedal. So I can have a preset cut, which I love. So then I can hit it back for a regular full power guitar sound, like I'm on 10. It does that. Then it also has an effect loop built into it. So then I can bring that delay in when I hit that pedal. So now I've brought up the volume of the guitar, and I brought in a delay because it has an effect loop in it too. So this is a switcher box that can do a lot of things.
Nice.
That counts, right?
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah. So it's got an attenuator, and it has an effect loop that comes in and out. And there's your boost right there. And I guess normally I would have some sort of distortion box too, but I personally have never found a distortion box that I like. Like I can't use a clean amp and then use a distortion box to get my sound. I just have to use some sort of amp with distortion built in. And maybe I just haven't found the pedal. Maybe somebody can point me in the right direction, but I can't find it. Am I by myself there?
No, that's the eternal search for, like, I'm kind of a drive nut myself. And so I there's a lot of really fantastic different drives, but it sounds like you, like, just even having a a good range master would do you some good.
Yummy.
Yeah, we just had R2R Electric on there, who makes a really tasty one. So does Hello Sailor. I mean, and those aren't the only two people. Those are just like literally the two guys that we just had on the show that are making really great range masters. But
well, I think I'm with you, Chris, as well. I mean, I use some, pedals, some distortion, drive pedals just to add on what the amp already has to offer, just to get that extra oomph.
Yes, I would do that.
Like the Velvet Fog I'm talking about. That's what that does. But yeah, I'm totally with you. And I'm to me, nothing's really better than my dual super lead, my Marshall. I mean, that thing.
Oh, right.
That thing's crazy awesome. So I don't know.
But I'd love to find it, because wouldn't it be great to show up to a show and just plug into somebody's amp and have that pedal that just does that,
Yeah.
Because then you're carrying less, right?
Yeah, indeed. That's one of the things that we've found really great about that R2R Electric Rangemaster that he sent to us, which is it's an amp top and it has a 6-way rotary on the back. So regardless of the amp and regardless of what pickups you have, like, you're gonna get a setting that sounds awesome. That's just one of those things.
It's a pedal or an amp preamp, or what is it?
It's an amp top effect. So you go.
Well, he makes both, though.
Yeah, he does make them both. But the one he sent us has that 6-way rotary, independent rotary. It's not ganged rotary, I guess the term would be. But anyways, yeah, I mean, the drive pedals galore out there. So many good ones.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dig into Mr. Chris DiPinto's guitar buildingness, I guess you might say. And in a nutshell, Chris, what would you say you've kind of made your name on?
Oh, I am modern retro. I think I started it. And maybe someday someone will explain to me, no, this guy was doing it first. But in 1994, 95, I am trying to make weird 60s instruments like they were made back in the 60s, like to the detail. And I was only doing it because I was left-handed and I loved them and I couldn't find them. It was only out of necessity. And I just had a few people want me to make these guitars for them, which really wasn't the plan. And as it started to take off, I was told to my face that, what the hell are you doing? Why do you want to do this? Who wants this?
Mm-hmm.
And I only say that because, it's just come around to that. Like, everything is 60s retro wild. And it's just such a great thing. I love it. I'm so glad that I can look around and see stuff that I love, because in the 90s I was looking at Steinbergers and PRSs and just
was a
headless guitar.
in the guitar world, I think.
Yeah, it was flame tops, salad bowl looking things, and I did all the trade shows. Believe me, I saw all the guitars, and it was kind of a lonely place back then, but it's not now. So
no.
It's nice.
When you say 60s guitars, are reminiscent of ...
Yeah, I will tend to skew towards Echoes and Italian guitars and, Hagstroms and Danelectros and Tascos. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And that made it even harder. Now, of course, Melody Makers and, 3 pickup SGs and, Firebirds are cool too. I go that route too. But this is the thing that I try and do. I try to do the sparkle tops and the pearly fretboards. And, I was doing, gold foil pickups real early on with my guitars, and it's just what I loved. And it's so weird to see so many gold foil pickups now. I just can't even believe it.
That is weird.
It's such a wild thing. I love it though. I'm glad Jared made me some awesome blue foil Tasco pickups for it.
Yep.
Amazing. I was psyched by the sound because, you think, well, how's it it's gonna sound like the original? Dude, the tone was better than the original.
Hey,
wow! I don't doubt that.
No need to search eBay for an old one because I'll just use Jared's. They're great.
Woohoo!
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's great
definitely.
to hear.
So was the Galaxy your first first model that you offered?
As far as when I start, so I make myself a guitar. I make this 10-string instrument. It's like tuned in fifths. That's the first thing I make. And it kind of looks like this rare Burns thing. It's very angular. It kind of looks like a Pro 1. You know what a down electro Pro 1 looks like?
Yeah.
Very 50s angular. That's the first one that I make for myself. And that's the one everybody sees me play on stage and they're saying, make me a guitar like that. So then I say to myself, well, I'm not going to make you my, signature guitar. Right? I'm young and I want to be famous, right? I'm not going to start handing that to other people. So I figure I'm going to make 3 other models and see if other people will buy these other 3 models. So I do. I make a thing called a satellite, which is an offset Jaguar shape. And that becomes the Galaxy later. That's what you know.
Yeah.
As the Galaxy. And then there's the Mach 4, which is more of a Mosrite. Mm-hmm. And then there's this Les Paul thing, kind of Les Paul. It's more of a Supro-looking thing. That was the Belvedere.
Yeah.
They were the 3 at first. And I presented those 3 to the first 3 or 4 buyers that were interested here in Philadelphia. And they all picked the Galaxy or the Satellite. They all picked that one. So I made a bunch of those at first.
When Jerry gets hopped up on something, as we all do, we reach out and we go, you gotta do what you want. You better have this guy on the show. So
I was, man.
All right.
That's verbatim too.
Yeah, but your guitars are in the hands of 2 of my favorite guitar players, Elliot Easton.
Oh yes,
and Will Crudson.
Oh wow!
Because I love the Cars and I love Adam Ant, and I was at the stage on the last Adam Ant show, and it was cool just watching Will do his thing. He's a fun guitar player to watch, and he brings flash and show to the the right amount. And then as I was learning more about him, because I think at the time he was playing, he might have had an Eastman. But anyways, I noticed that he had one of these. I think he's using it for his Scant Regard band, and I was like, oh wait a minute, and I started putting all these things together. So, anyways.
Oh yeah, well he's one of the few that will go on stage with a weird '60s instrument.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember what the model is, but it's the one with all of the rocker switch, the multicolor rocker switches up at the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's playing one of those. I think it's a Spectrum.
Yeah. Yep.
Split pickups.
Yep.
Oh man, it gets a great tone out of it. To be able to get a great tone out of a weird thing like that, it's awesome. And I've never played one, so maybe they're actually really nice. But yeah.
He's playing
the
Eastman model on that, which is going to be probably built a little bit more playable, I would imagine.
Oh, okay. All right.
And the thing that kind of knocked me out about, so what's curious is like there's a similar, you've got the round rocker switches. These are the big rectangle ones, and they're all single pickups. When I look at guitars like that personally, and this is my sort of like weird strato business here, I play a little bit more physical, I feel like. Maybe I'm just imagining that. And I play more rhythmy stuff. And he's playing the same stuff. I mean, it's like, it's Adam Ant stuff. So he's not wheeling necessarily. He's doing a little bit of that. But here's like all these controls, and he's still totally like rocking like proper like rock power stuff. And I was like, wow, that's really, I never would have guessed you would have picked that guitar to do it. And he did,
I love it. Well, that's also my thing. I've always wanted to fool the senses. I always wanted the guitar to look like the cheapest thing. I wanted it to look like a cartoon guitar, actually, but sound like a professional instrument that Yngwie could play. You know what I mean? Sure. I wanted to, there were some of my favorite guitarists. There was like Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, and I wanted to combine the weird '60s thing I was into as well, because as a teenager you're changing, you're getting into different things, and maybe you're not listening to heavy metal anymore. I started listening to Syd Barrett, other weird stuff, and I was into this article in Guitar Player magazine called Off the Wall. I don't know if you remember it from back then, but the writer's name was Tesco Del Rey. He took the name for himself. I'm not sure what his real name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just love that article. I stared at those guitars, and then later on, I started to find those guitars at pawn shops. So so then I find myself combining these two worlds that really don't go together, and then form and function become very important. How are you going to make it look like that but work like this?
Yeah,
and that's the hardest thing.
You know, it's interesting. Many shows ago, we were talking about a lot of. I think Tony, you might have been talking about like the Japanese guitars, the old style Japanese guitars, and I think our guest or somebody said, the Taisco, and I said, wait a minute, hang on a second, let's just address this really quick. Now, I think most people would say, and you probably have more experience than this with any of us, Chris, as far as how the pronunciation goes. But it dawned on me, I'm like, that's spelled like Seiko watches. And I know I'm relatively familiar with several Japanese things, and I'm like, no, that's Taisco. It's not Taisco.
It's Taisco, but it's not even a word though. It's not even made to be a word. It's an acronym, right?
I didn't know that, but I just know that the vowel sounds in Japanese is an A, not a. Anyways, so what is the acronym?
It's Tokyo Electronic Instrument Sound Company. Isn't that crazy?
That's so weird.
Yeah, I knew that.
Where's the Gakki, Gakki? That's usually in one of the names of Japanese companies.
Gakki.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Gakki.
Gakki. Sorry. Gakki.
Well, the funny thing about it is it's English words.
Yeah.
Acronym. It's not even. There's nothing Japanese about it.
Who would have known? Who would have known? Look at that. You just enlightened.
Well, apparently Chris knew.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You just enlightened the entire guitar world with that didn't know it.
Yeah. This is a good episode. We're learning things.
Fantastic.
I probably learned it from Off the Wall too. From the Taste Del Rey episode or issues. Yeah.
So his name, by the way, was Dan Fort, or is Dan Fort.
Yes,
So he had that was a great article. I loved that. I was just like you. I loved seeing the oddball stuff, and of course, in the '80s, when I was canvassing pawn shops and stuff, all that stuff was you'd buy it for $50 or $75, and just like oh my god,
he was
play
my
it
hero.
once and throw it away.
Yeah, I just came across some. Yeah. I just came across some old pictures. They were the professional shots I had taken of two rare guitars, weird-looking guitars that I'd sent to him to try and get into one of the articles. I think I had a Microfet's Orbiter, which is a crazy weird guitar.
Oh yeah,
and
that one had the crazy adjustable intonation at the nut, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it didn't work at all. It was so fun. And you know what else it had? It had this little egg-shaped thing that stuck into the horn of the body, and it was a cordless system, and it transmitted to your FM radio, so you could play guitar through the radio.
Oh my God, you gotta love that! So
awesome.
So when did you hook up with Los Straitjackets?
Yeah, let's see. That's early on. I'm hand making guitars from like 95 to 99, and I think it starts to build a little too far past what I can do just by myself. So we find a Korean factory at the time, and we have them. We just sent them some prototypes, and we got some instruments back from them. And I'm trying to remember. It might have been a year after we got our first prototypes, because then I go to the NAMM show in Nashville, and a friend of mine says, "You got to go see this band called Los Straitjackets. They're amazing." And they just got a sponsorship with Fender, but they gave them Squires with humbuckers in them. And they're a surf band. And I said, why would they do something like that? That's crazy. Well, they're going to love my guitars. I just have to meet them. We just have to make this happen. So I go see the show. And of course, it's like everything I love. It's fun. It's melodic. It's rocking. It's childish, but cerebral at the same time. It's great. The masks, they have wrestling masks on, right? And you can tell they love guitar, So they come to my booth the next day at the NAMM show, and Eddie Angel, the lead guitarist, just walks up to this silver sparkle Galaxy with a gold pearl pickguard and 4 pickups, and he's like, yeah, this one. This is the one we're going to use. Make matching guitars like this for everybody in the band, you know? And he picked up the very first one the Koreans made. It was actually handmade. They made 5 guitars for me, and I took a couple of the prototypes to the NAMM show, and he picked out one of the first ones, and he still has it to this day. It's a handmade Korean instrument, and it's amazing. It sounds slightly better than every other one I've ever made, I think, you know. You'll know when you hear him because that guitar fills the room when he plays it. He never takes the guitar out of the bridge position. He's always playing that bridge pickup, and he's plugged directly into a deluxe reverb or maybe a Vibrolux. And it's just amazing. He'll hit the low E string, and you'll just be like, oh my God, what is that? The tone is filling the room. It's just the greatest thing. You should go see them if you can.
Oh, yes. Did you happen to catch them when they were touring with Nick Lowe?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. What a show.
Amazing.
What a show.
It's like genius. You're watching Genius, and you're just like, can't believe the music I'm hearing, you know?
Yeah.
I have a question for you. And I may be the only one that doesn't necessarily know this, but I think one of the most interesting things about, at least if we're talking about the Galaxy, which is, I dare to say, your flagship guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
When some people look at these or other, for lack of better terms, Japanese style guitars, oftentimes we see like, wow, that's a lot of pickups. What is the purpose? What is the upside? What is the downside of 4 single pickups?
Well, if you ask me, the purpose is to freak people out. And I know nobody wants to hear that. They all want to hear that there's some tone reason. But, you know, when you see a picture of Hound Dog Taylor playing a 4 pickup guitar, it's just, you've won it, you know? You want that vibe. I mean, vibe is so important to the performer, to the artist, and even to the fan out in the audience watching. You know, it can bring so much creativity if you have a certain look. And some people are all function, and like I said, Eddie Angel picked the 4 pickup guitar, but he never plays anything except the bridge pickup. So I mean, he got it. He knew what I was talking about. He knew what I was trying to create as well. You know, it reminded him maybe of one of his first guitars he ever had, and he loved that guitar, but could never use it on stage. And that what I was trying to do. You can use this guitar on stage, and it looks like that guitar you love.
Yeah,
that's the idea. However, I did own a Kent in the '90s that had 4 pickups, and these 4 pickups were really nice pickups. So the combination of the 4. It was beyond Strat, you know, when you get 2 Strat pickups on at the same time. It was going beyond those tones, you know, because you had 4 of them. You had more combinations. And then so I figured, well, this is useful sonically, too. You can take 4 pickups and offer it to somebody in the studio, and they can get all new sounds. But they're all very similar, all those 4 pickup combinations. I think people are expecting otherworldly, but it's more Strat type sounds.
Yeah, and if you have 4 of those pickups in those style, the single coils, you know, those aren't really high output at all. So all 4 are going to complement each other in any configuration they're wired to, in my opinion, because you know you've got more room for more tone when, you know, not each pickup's not like 20K versus 6 or 7.
Exactly.
Well, if you remember though, Jared, you know, one of the first projects you and I worked on together was the Marauder.
Oh yes, I do.
With the under the guard pickups. Those were kind of a weird thing because they were so far away from the strings. Yep.
But all the coils were just, you know, everything was so scrunched together.
Yeah, and you could put it. I had it switched so you can go in and out of phase and hum canceling in certain positions. It's actually pretty. It's fun to play around with. Now, how practical, you know, it's.
So I'm all about getting those pickups close. Were you able to get good tones out of it with the?
I think if the pickups were above the plastic, you just stand a much better chance of getting some good tonality out of it.
A lot of magnets too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was just a fun project. Fender had released the reissue of the Marauder, and they had wrong pickups in it and everything. So I said, well, let's just route out the body and drop 4. I pulled up the specs off of the patent application. And Jared made 4 of these pickups for me.
Oh, that's cool.
And
they were crude too, but they were monsters.
I still have it.
Yeah, it looked great when we were done.
It's cool.
Yeah, I think maybe if you use an EP booster or just some sort of little booster, I think it would sound okay, right?
Yeah, I think that if Fender would have continued with that design, they probably should have put some sort of onboard preamp or something like that. Which
maybe just make a whole giant large cover for all 4 of those pickups and actually raise them up.
Yeah,
closer to the strings. I think would have been a better thing to do.
Yeah,
I had a customer one time. Well, he worked at a guitar store, and I was shipping Depintos to their guitar store. They were selling them, and he kept demanding that I lower my pickups down to the level of the pick guard. He said, that's what Clapton did. He had his pickups way far away from the string. Why are you shipping your pickups with them so close to the strings? And I'm like, whoa. I need people to hear output when they plug my guitar. They're not going to buy it. And he's like, you don't know what you're doing over there.
Oh, dear God.
So he was saying, crank the amp up and lower the pickups. Now, maybe there's something to that, but maybe you need a 68, 69 plexi to do it.
Yeah. Wow.
It's interesting what you said about the how much the look plays into something. And this goes with a lot of things in life, right?
You're talking Todd's language now.
Yeah, for sure. Because look, let's face it, if Ace Frehley was rocking like a junior, no.
And no makeup?
It doesn't.
I was going to say no makeup.
Forget the makeup. Just the guitar alone. If he's like, yeah, then you're like, well, it's like a little melody maker or a junior with a single.
No,
dog
man, he's got a 70s sunburst with 3 DiMarzio double creams.
Exactly.
And the middle pickup
doesn't even
throws out flames, baby.
It's turned off.
It's not even. It's a little. It's actually not even a pickup. It's a little door that opens up.
Yeah,
it's a picture of a pickup, and it opens up to let the smoke out.
Yes,
yeah,
beautiful.
But that you're right. It's like 3 exhaust pipes instead of 1. It's better.
Yeah,
I know.
And obviously the kind of music you're playing makes a huge. Fitting that for the music is a really big deal, and that's something that I marvel at this. I'm hip to it, but I marvel at it when I'm seeing other bands. I'm like, your music is really good, but you guys look like you just came in from work. What the hell?
I know.
Like,
you don't have to tell me.
This is my whole life. Gimmick.
Well, let's take it to the next level. I mean, I have a band, like I said, called Cream Circus, and it's 70s glam rock, and it is platform shoes, and we're doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the people in my band, they have to get on board with these outfits, but as you can see how detailed I am with the instruments, the outfits have to be just as detailed. I don't accept somebody stopping off at the Halloween store and buying a hat and a boa, so now
that's not believable, and then nobody's going to buy it.
No. So when you come to see my band, you're going to get the same experience. The band isn't as successful as the guitars, but
but you're having a good time, and the people that are watching it are buying it, and that's what it's about. It's like,
I'd be all into that.
When you go to a show,
you probably like it.
You want to feel it. You want to be like, this is a thing, man.
And in Philly, we'll pack the room, and we don't work it. If we toured the country 3 or 4 times, the word would get out, I'm sure. But I have a life and a family and stuff. I'm not going to go that route, and I can live my little rock star life with 75 people in a room, and that's fine with me. But you better believe everyone in that room is on board with it. They love it.
Nice.
That was the Philly cheer squad. Right?
Oh yes.
So speaking of details, do you have a source anymore for the yellow gold pearloid?
That's funny. You can't get it here in America, can you?
No.
The straight jacket card, right?
Yeah, the
headstock.
The last blank that I had went to Pete Curry for a bass project that he was doing.
Right?
Yeah.
And where did you get it from?
I bought the last 10 blanks that All Parts had in stock.
Oh, they had some.
Yeah, they had some. So I guess it was whatever Japanese manufacturer that they used had a little left over. But man, it's so impossible to find, and it's so
crazy.
cool looking.
I do have some, and I would just, order it from my Korean factory, and they would just send me a bunch because I couldn't get it here. Even Pickguard Heaven, that guy has everything, old, stuff that you can't get anymore. And he's like, "Oh, I can get that. And then he called me back. He's like, "No, I can't get that."
Yeah.
This is what a strange thing, right? Now my Chinese factory is now sending me the right stuff. It looks right.
Yeah, there's
the first time.
There's a yellow perloid that I've been able to get, and then there's like a bronzy perloid that I've been able to get, but not the same stuff.
The gold is tough. And the first time they shipped me guitars, they actually sprayed tint onto white pearl, so they couldn't find it immediately.
Oh,
but then the next order, they had the right colors. So
may I suggest the French or the Italians, because they have to repair all the accordions.
Right?
I'm just saying, just
true.
a guy sitting over here listening to this show.
Squeeze box.
Anyways, well, man, this is you got some super fun guitars. And are you basically like, these are the models and these will always be the models, or are you constantly doing new stuff?
Oh man, it's tough. I've actually backed off because I'm not even turning out many Mach 4s or Belvederes anymore. And it's hard to keep things in stock. I'd almost rather not. Yeah, well, but having the room for, you got Mach 4s, you have Belvederes, and you have Galaxies. Now you have different colors of each, and maybe you have a bass version. I mean, you're talking about a big warehouse there. And the second something goes out of stock, you have to place an order for more guitars. And each model, it gets out of control. I'd almost rather have less models. And right now, I'm just doing Galaxies, and I'm just using that format to create all new ideas. Each Galaxy that comes out has this new idea I try. That's funny you mentioned Will from Adam Ant. I made him a cheese grater guitar. And basically, it has this weird cheese grater material under the pickups, but it has two dummy coils underneath the pick guards. Now, once again, we're talking about pickups underneath the pick guard. But when you turn those other pickups on, then you get hum canceling with the single coil pickups that are outside the pick guard. So each Galaxy has some other weird art project built into it. It's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. I'm loving it, actually.
So what if somebody goes to your website and they see that Galaxy Mach 4, that Pelham blue with that cream whitish color? I mean, that's the most plain looking one you have on the website, but my gosh, is that thing just sexy as hell.
Yeah, sometimes simple is the best, right?
Yeah, so could somebody, order that today if they put a deposit down?
You said Mach 4, the Mosrite shaped one?
Yeah. Like the Pelham blue with the... Yeah.
That one. I'm trying to remember exactly. Yeah. It's cream, right? It was supposed to be like a melody maker looking thing.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Somebody ordered a Mach 4, and that was it. They wanted it to be more like a melody maker. And that's what I created on that guitar. Tough because that body and neck was made in the USA factory, which is not happening right now. But he has all the CAD drawings. Like, I could get those things and I could have them. I can have those parts cut out somewhere else, even in China. That might be the next one we do in China. But yes, it would take time to have that one made.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering.
Mm-hmm. It could be done, though.
I like it.
I love it, too.
So about 20 years ago, I guess, I had one of the Mach 12s, the 12-string.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a wonderful guitar. I mean, it actually sounded good. It played in tune.
Yes.
That was a nice job on that. Now, that was part of the import line. Is that right?
Yeah, that was Korean. That was the Korean factory.
Mm-hmm.
And we stuck with them for a good 10 years. Well, we would have still be sticking with them, but they closed up. A lot of the Korean factories closed up a good 5 years ago. It all just it crashed like the stock market. They all just disappeared because cost of living in Korea went up, and
that's so weird because like in the last couple of years, it's like we've seen more and more. Like I swear, half of the people that we've interviewed that are guitar builders have their signature handmade line, and they also have like a Korean
line.
Like, it's almost everybody, and so
they're still working with Korean factories to this day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sully, Pure Salem, those are like just two that come to my mind that they have.
Well, you got Reverend,
and still doing Korea.
DRS.
So a lot of them closed, but 2 or 3 apparently stayed open. And my choice was to either go with one of those that stayed open, and they were asking higher prices, or start an American line and try and do an American line with a lower price. I was trying to come in at the same price point that the expensive Korean guitars were coming in at, and we did it for a while. It's very hard to run a factory here in America. We can talk about that for hours, but it has a lot to do with, I hate to say it, but it has to do with healthcare. People in this country, and it's hard to run your business. It's hard to run your factory with workers when there's major costs, and these other countries don't have that cost.
Yeah,
they have socialized medicine, and even. We broke it. The factory was huge. It was big. It was cumbersome. We broke it down to just the luthiers, and they couldn't make the guitars because they had to go get full-time jobs to have health care. So they weren't making guitars. They were out doing their full-time job trying to do the factory part-time. So it was just, if they just had health care, they could have been making guitars all day long,
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's weird what killed it.
Interesting. Well, and also from what I understand, I remember Pure Salem sharing this, is that like, hey, I'd love to make a new model, but I have to buy 700 of these, or was it, you had to fill at least half of a container, like a container ship container.
I never did that. I always shared a container, and that brought the price up. So that's probably why they want to do it, bring the price down. Yeah. So now I'm doing China, and I don't know. The quality is me now. The guitar comes to me with problems, but I can fix all those problems. I level the frets. I make a pick guard. I rewire it the way it's supposed to be wired. I'm taking the pickups apart, flipping the magnets on them to make them hum canceling.
Wow.
I'm rebuilding everything on it. And when it's done, it's the exact guitar I wanted from the start, and it's awesome. And people love them. Tons of great reviews.
That's cool.
And it's fun for me too.
I can imagine this. That's like, I envy the ability to like make a guitar that you want. Like I just, it's a special thing. And you make a special guitar. And so I hope that you continue to do that, and that people who maybe haven't even heard of you or aren't familiar with this, or maybe haven't even dared to say, I could rock a crazy guitar like that they would,
Yeah, give it a shot.
We're gonna mosey on over to see what's going on with Jared. I'm pretty sure we've got a special one this time.
Yes, we do. We have a special long Would You Rather. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, would you rather? Today's Would You Rather, buckle in, it's going to be a while. And it's really fun. And this is from our good friend Mike Millard. So, would you rather? You're walking down the street, and you have in your hand your latest telly build. You're a hobby builder. You're a serious builder, too. And while building guitars is not your primary source of income, you've always wondered if you can make a go at it. To your great surprise, coming up the street the other way is Keith Richards. He says, "Hey, mate," and kind of eyeballing your freshly built guitar. Says, "Can I see that thing?" You say, "Sure." And you're super pumped. So Keith takes your telly and he plugs it into a little pig nose amp that just happens to be right there. He bangs out a few chords and he says, "Hey, now, this thing is talking to me. Tell you what, mate. You let me have this guitar and I'll play it on the jumping jack flash on every stop of our 2022 world tour. But Keith goes on, because of a complicated legal arrangement I have regarding product placement on tour, you won't be able to sell any guitars you make from this point forward. You can make and sell all the banjos you want, Keith adds with a chuckle. But if you let me play this guitar on stage during our tour, flashing your name and logo on the headstock all over the world, you just can't sell any other guitars ever. Yeesh. Gee, I don't know, Mr. Richards, you say. I've always wondered if I could make a living selling my guitars. Well, mate, Keith says, in that case, because I like you, here's another option I can offer you. I'll arrange for you and I to make a couple of promotional bits for your guitars, for magazines, etc. In fact, since you're a right proper chap, I'll even do an informal promo in person at your booth at next year's NAMM. Yeah, right. Then, as long as I'm not seen or recorded actually playing one of your guitars, you're free to make and sell all of them you can. Just be a celebrity endorser for your products, free of charge. So that's your options, mate. What do you say?
Wow.
Yeah, Todd.
All right. So in summary, you've made this wonderful Telecaster. You run into Keith. He likes the Telecaster. But if he plays it on Jumpin' Jack Flash in the 50th or 60th anniversary tour,
you can't make any more guitars. You
can't make any more guitars, only banjos.
Yep.
Or Keith, because he likes you, he will become a spokesperson for your company.
And be ransacked and mobbed at NAMM.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Tony Baloney, what are you going to do?
Well, not being able to make or sell other guitars would not be an option in my book. So I'm going to let Keith do the endorsement at NAMM and, see what happens. Let the chips fall. But yeah, I mean, honestly, how much, one song on a tour, not going to get much exposure. Sorry.
Yeah, that might be the song that you go to the bathroom on.
Or get a beer.
All right.
Or change your mask.
Yeah.
Change your mask.
Right. That'd be fun.
Jared?
Yeah, I'm going to do the promotional, I'm going to do the promotional at the NAMM show. I think that would be more beneficial to me. I probably have to put a big plexi square so people won't, mob him. And
I think you should make a big plexi, like a pod, like in Spinal Tap, and he'd have to stay inside there.
He'd be like the Bubble Boy guy,
Exactly.
And people can't ransack him whenever they want.
All right.
He's just sitting in there playing the guitar,
Nice.
Chris, about yourself?
Yeah, I don't see the NAMM show thing happening,
Well,
I mean, what's it?
In a hypothetical, like in a normal situation,
in Fantasyland.
Yeah, there's no COVID in Fantasyland.
Yeah. Of course, you take the promotional thing. You don't want to stop making guitars,
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens to me in real life where someone says this or that, and well, that sounds like a better deal for me, but the better deal for you never seems to pan out. So you can probably kiss both deals goodbye, So he's probably not coming to NAMM, And it was fun to meet him, and that's usually where it stops. But yeah, if he comes to NAMM, then go for it.
Yeah, he really shows up, man.
I
What
feel
about
like it should
you?
have been. Oh, go.
I think I'm gonna have to side with you guys on this one.
Of course.
Yeah, it sounds tempting, but it never is not a good word. So, never being able to do whatever blank is usually not ending up well, despite how tantalizing the Keith carrot may be. So, Yeah.
I guess I can say I'm also talking from experience as well. I built pickups for a guy about 12 years ago that put him in his guitars, and he sold 4 of them to Steve Miller of the Steve Miller Band. And
Oh, that's Steve Miller?
Oh,
yeah,
does,
you know,
does Steve Miller have a band?
that one guy does the couple of hits or whatever.
Single jet airliner, Steve Miller.
Yeah,
There's another very famous Steve Miller, by the way. He's not a musician though.
Is he a space cowboy or a gangster of love?
All right, Tony, shut it.
and even after, and he would play, I think 2 out of the 4 on stage, but only for one song.
Yeah.
Or 1 or 2 songs, I think, because I think he toured with 100 guitars at the time. But
What a
yeah,
joker.
it's just like
I guess I might change my mind if the option was that you couldn't make that exact model that you gave to Keith, but you could still make guitars.
Sure.
brand, with your brand.
Yeah, that I could go for that, but yeah, to not be able to make any other guitars.
Mike Millard, thank you so much for the Would You Rather.
Indeed.
Everybody send in yours too.
Indeed, we appreciate the thought that went into that. Chris, if you hang out for just a second, we're going to thank some very important people to us, and then we'll wrap up with you, okay?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Awesome. Tony Baloney?
Yes, at
Tanya
this point.
Balonsky?
Yeah, this is me. Hello?
Take your time, buddy.
Okay, I'm going to stretch it a little bit if that's okay with you, Todd. At this point of the show, we have a special group of VIPs, very important people that we like to thank. These are executive producers, and they deserve every bit of thanks that we can muster up for them. What's an executive producer, you may be asking? Head over to patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs and find out all the ways in which you can participate, can be a sponsor, can be a patron of this very podcast. Each level comes with a great thank you gift package, including things like t-shirts and barefoot buttons and stickers and picks. And oh my goodness, the list goes on and on and on. Even keychains, I'm told. But as an executive producer, you get all that great stuff. And there's one more thing, Jared. What is that?
Get to have your name right on the thing.
Your name right on the thing. That's what I'm doing right now. So special thanks to these executive producers. Mr. Tom Barazin, Martin Cliff, John Daly, Chris Kearney, Darren Gregory, Doug Christ, Michael Van Zant, Ken Sayers, Brian Robison, Michael Senchuk, Stefan Lamb, Johnny Knowles, Anthony Lathrop, John Anglin, Tyler Bray, Brad Partridge, Chris Heidel, John Esterly, Doug Gann, Justin Jones, Brett Alexander, James White, Matt Hart, Liam Martin, James Pennington, Richard Kendall, Ty Harmon, John Williams, John Jackson, Jason Roush, David Arando, Douglas King, Gary Cooper, Rob Saxby, and Elad Mizrahi. Oh, but wait!
I gotta note how much we've been butchering his name. So I guess we can keep on doing it.
How is it?
I don't know. He won't tell me.
He won't tell you. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, I like saying it. Elad Mizrahi.
Sure.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Stop interrupting, though, Todd,
I'm
because
sorry.
there's another special group of people, extra special. These are our grand poobahs. These are the dwellers of the penthouse suite above the other executive producers. So special thanks to these grand poobahs. Mr. Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, David Kaminga, Cody Lane, Cody Fossa, Sean S.
Yes.
Tommy Manasco, Mark Garton, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Tim Nowak, and Tyler Raines. Thank you. Rhines, I'm sorry, not Raines, Rhines. Thank you.
Yes, I think Tyler Raines is some country artist or something like that. It sounds like.
Why not?
Hey, my name's Tyler Raines. But no, thank you, Tyler Raines, for doing that. And for everybody else, we appreciate you so very much. Much. All the muches. Chris DiPinto, where can people find you and hopefully get a hold of one of your guitars?
Well, yeah, like I said, Instagram might be the best place to see what I'm doing, and then message me there, or I don't get alerts there, so maybe message me on Facebook. But either place that's usually where I am. And some people go to the website and they fill out the form to order a guitar, and I'll get that too through an email, or just pick up the phone and call Philadelphia. And I think people are shocked that when they call here, they talk to me. They think it's like this big company. And they get to talk to the CEO, but I'm also the guy packing the guitar up too. So
Right on. Tony Baloney.
Well, let's just say you need a special pick guard. Head over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the stuff that I have to offer. You can see some of the projects we've talked about here on Instagram at pickguardian and the number 1. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you need. I will take very good care of you.
Jared.
If you're in need of pickups, new pickups that look old, repaired, you need some repairs on your pickups or, restored, just get a hold of me through Instagram or
you got a weird old Japanese guitar that you need better pickups in.
Exactly. Or email me, jared@brandonpickups.com. It's on the website, or message me, whatever.
Fantastic. You can shoot me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me on Instagram @guitarknobs, and I'll be sure to share whatever you send with the fellas here. We get a lot of great questions, and we would love to hear your would you rathers as well. So please continue to send those in. Chris DiPinto, thank you so much for joining us on this episode.
I have a quick question before you go.
Absolutely.
Did you ever think about calling it Guitar Knobs, NOBS? Isn't that funny?
Yeah, no.
That's for
Wait. Oh, no BS. I got you. Okay.
NOBS, not KNOBS.
Yeah.
Guitar Knobs.
There's
right?
too much BS in it, though.
Yeah, that would be false advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on the show. We had a great time talking with you.
No problem.
Yeah, and everybody else out there, have a great Guitar Weekend. Subscribe!
Yeah.
That's
right.
been gaining traction. I wonder if it's a lot of pressure, but ready, go.
Tony believes it.
I believe it.
Hello, Mr. Depinto.
Hello.
Tony, can you hear me?
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes. If things get weird, I'll let you know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is it Tony Baloney? All right.
You guys want to do it? You can do it. I'm not doing it.
Yes. My thing. I do it.
All right, one more time.
It's remarkable, like those two things in combination. Those two things in combination are pretty outstanding. Anyways,
You couldn't wait till after we're done talking?
Couldn't do that. Thanks, Jared.
Tony.
Hi, Jared.
Subscribe.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.